What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Payne. Welcome back to another Tower of God New World video. Alright guys, today I want to talk about the store. That's right, the actual store that is found in the control center. If you look here, that is a workshop store. And I want to talk about where the free-to-play players will probably dwell, where they're going to be going into using their resources to get specific items, and then where it's mostly dolphin and whale territory, and how eventually over time free-to-play will also be able to take advantage of it. And then also want to talk about how some of these resources are going to be used to purchase some of these important items. Okay, so let's go into here. If you've never been in here, take a look. It's a weird place to be found, to be quite honest. In a menu, most of the time, a store is found here, but in this case, it's not. If you go to the shop here, this shop is a little different. This is your purchase shop, which they're very, very smart to do. So you can see here, you can get all of your purchasable items with real life money in this section, but nothing here will be free except for the free weekly and daily suspendium that you get, and as well as some of these passes here, right, which you will get eventually as well too as you complete certain things. But the growth ones, again, are all paid. Hot deals are all paid, and specials are all paid. So everything here is going to be the wrong shop. So a lot of people actually that I've talked to didn't know this shop existed, even though in the tutorial it actually takes you there. It's just pretty well hidden. So normally you'd have like a little shop on this side or this side. One will be the purchase shop, and the second one will be the free shop. But to find the free shop, you go to go to Control Center, and it's actually right underneath Alliance, called the Workshop Store. Now I want to go through each one of these tabs and talk about what you should be purchasing as a free-to-play player versus what whales will take advantage of and dolphins will take advantage of, and eventually it will become accessible to free-to-play players with some patience and time. Remember, the game is very, very new, so for a lot of folks who are, and I've heard this, and this is why I'm bringing this up, right? A lot of folks who have complained at how expensive things are. It's a business, guys, right? All gacha businesses are like this. All idle games are like this. It's just a matter of you will eventually outlive the monetization if you put patience and time into the game. So let's talk about this real quick. So this is the first store. This is the main store, the normal store. That's why I like that they use the word normal, which is really interesting. So this is where you're going to be able to use your suspendium and your coins to purchase specific items. So as a free-to-play player, there's a couple items here that are definitely worth picking up. So for example, the Shinsu here, actually, for the amount of gold you get as you progress through the game, is actually not a bad value. So you can definitely pick this up. I usually do whenever I can. There you go. And then what will end up happening is you'll notice here, you're going to get yourself a randomized amount of coins for 80 gems. Now, these are actually worth it. 24 hours worth of coins is good. Now, I do want to point this out real quick to you guys, okay? Just so we are on the same page. These coins, when you purchase them, you're also going to get an additional 4,000. You can see right above there what you get when you purchase an item. Now, with that being said, it is very, very important you guys know how this works. A lot of new players are coming into Tower of God because they've never played a gacha before, an idle game. You guys can see here I'm collecting a lot of these and I have not used them. The 2-hour ones, the 1-hour ones, 8 hours. Now, the way it works, if you read the description, use this to acquire 24 hours worth of coin loot. Now, what that essentially is telling you is the further you progress in the adventure mode, the more you'll get from your coin purses. So let's call them purses. That was the coin gift box, the 8 hours, 24 hours, etc. The further you are in here, guys, the more you're going to get, because what dictates the amount of gold you get is how far you've progressed in the adventure mode. So if you're just opening them up randomly all the time, you're actually wasting a lot of resources. Make sure this applies to the EXP resource, the Shinsu resource, as well as the coin resource. Anything that you can open up, okay, is something you want to save until you've hit a roadblock. And that's when you want to open it up, because then you'll get the most bang for your buck based on your progression. Because every time you beat a level, these values go up by 1 or 2 or 3, whatever the case may be, right? So it's very important, guys, to note that with your resources, don't just open them every time you get them. Try to progress without opening it till you hit like a really, really hard stop, and then you want to use them to try to advance a little further. And that doesn't mean open up everything. Just open up what you need for the time. So I just want to point that out real quick, because a lot of people don't understand that the value of these items do go up as you progress, okay? So very important to note that. Going back to the store again, let's talk about something else. So these books I've mentioned already are not worth it. I would not, as a free-to-play, they're just way too expensive. These right here, I would leave alone. This you can get simply by just getting your proficiency to level 10 by some characters, which you should have at this point. I have 5 or 6 of them already at 10. And then each time you win a battle, those characters will just give you 1 book each. So in 2 battles, you can already get 10. You save yourself a lot of coins. So don't purchase this, in my opinion. Also, these ones for 800 is way too much, in my opinion, as well, too. Just over time, collect these greens. You'll get some of these from the actual trials, and they'll drop in random places as well, too. So keep that in mind. Don't spend them. Now, these rapport items are not that bad for 100, because keep in mind, getting 100 suspendium is just getting 1 level, and these rapport can really help you raise your rapport with characters, and at the same time, every time you raise them, you get suspendium back. So it's kind of like a wash almost to get these, and you get the value of raising your character's stats, right? And I've done a whole rapport and proficiency guide already. You guys can go check that out if you want to know what that's all about and what you get with it. Now, going down here, this is going to be where a lot of people are going to be either going for or not going for. So my suggestion personally with gear and purchasing it for this amount of suspendium for free to play is avoid it. Pay to win players will most likely go ahead and buy them if they have good stats, right? These stats are going to matter a lot. There is a huge gap difference between a B plus and an A. It's almost double on A's, right? So keep that in mind. Like, look at the difference in A power. And this is really good stats. Like, if this was also a percentage of the attack, I don't know if it's always flat on weapons. It might just be always flat on weapons, but the crit rate and the crit damage is 4 and 7% is really, really high, right? Like, this would really work well for my Wagner Ju, but I'm not going to purchase it because it's just way too many suspendiums to be using for that. So what's the alternative to getting weapons outside of idle? Of course, it is going to be in the Alliance Shop. So these Alliance Shop sections will have some gear for you. It does take a little bit of time. You can see here Alliance coins are available. I have purchased some gear already, the B plus gear, but the A's just started popping because I hit Adventures Floor 8. If you want to hold on to these to save them when you get A or A pluses, feel free to do so. But this is the best place, in my opinion, to get these items because they're going to be the most inexpensive way. You can see here, this is also 4 and 7. So it looks like combat gear or slot 2s are always the same. This is going to be the most inexpensive way to get them without using suspendium for free-to-play players. Again, whales and dolphins, you're most likely going to use your suspendium to get these and just move along quicker. But for free-to-play players, the Alliance Shop is for sure the best value for you for gear. Okay, so that's very important. Now moving over to the gem shop. Okay, this is the one that's going to be the most interesting to cover because there's a common crystal, an uncommon, and a rare common crystal. Okay, so the way this works is to get these right here, the common crystals, is you have to maximize and complete a unit's limit break. Now this means for the common one, it's going to be your SRs. So once you complete an SR limit break, you're going to start getting these values, these little gems, every time that unit is summoned. Okay, and these gems can now be used towards purchasing some of these books and some of these rapport items. Now, there's something more important here, though. You can see here, every time you summon, you also get soul crystals, which will help you get your Shinsu Link ranked up, right, to the letter. So like D, D1, D2, etc., right, as it goes up. These can also be used to get yourself some of these right here. These strength crystals, the dexterity crystals, and then your intelligence crystals. For 100 of these, for 1,000. So that'll actually push your tri-links to the 4th level. So this is actually not a bad value, to be honest. For 100 of these, to get 1,000, it can help you maximize your levels. Now, I'm going to go show you guys real quick what that is, the Tri-Essence facility here. So you can see here, level 4 requires you to get 1,000 to get it ranked up. Okay, so the core stat goes up. And remember, these stat lists, okay, you can see what you can get here. This is everything that it can provide you, up to 4% maximum. So you can actually look at the first one and change it by 100. If you don't like I don't like D, C, even B is really not that good. I'd want to change these. It takes 100 of these to change the stats. You can lock the stat you like, though. Okay, now this is huge because it'll actually help the specific applied teammates that this belongs to. So, for example, click on Apply Teammates. You can see here, these are all the units that will benefit from this strength tri-link, okay? If you go to Dexterity, same scenario here applies, right? You need 1,000 here to get it done. And if you have more of these units, like range units or assassins, then you want to focus on getting yourself the Dexterity one. If you have mages, right here, right, or support, then you want to go with this one. So all of these here are going to make a big difference for your stats. It's very important to note that because if you look here, this is currently what the stat is for all of those characters. And these are going to help drive your DPS, your survivability, and your account further, and your CP. So keep that in mind if you are looking to not rank up, right here, using the soul crystals. If you're done doing this for a little while, that's where you want to spend your. So the 1,000 to get 1,000 of those for 100 is actually not bad. Personally, I would focus still on ranking, but then eventually you're going to hit a roadblock. So it's not the worst thing in the world to get these up and then expand your stats for all of your characters in that class, right? You can also get the 500 here, but I think this is more, again, to the whale or dolphin territory. These here are a restoration ticket that can help you restore the facilities and give you back your value. So this will give you back all your gems. They give you 10 of them, so they're not that bad. So again, if you messed up and you want to do it all over again, use this right here, okay? Instead of having to go in and do 100 refresh every single time of these crystals. So this is not a bad value either. Okay, moving over to uncommon crystals. Now this one here, you're going to get when you complete SSRs, okay? So when you've completed SSRs, all the limit breaks, you're going to get these crystals, which allows you access to one purchasable SSR plus, and then a couple other SSRs, and then also getting yourself the 60 here, which is going to be the cheapest value, but it is random in terms of who you get, so you don't get to choose who you want. Now these two units here, these three units actually are really good, so obviously you'd want to aim for them. This is more, again, at this point in time, whale and dolphin territory, but eventually over time, free-to-play players will be able to max out their SSRs with dupes over time. It's going to take a while, obviously, but you will be able to eventually start accumulating these crystals and using them to purchase some of your other units that you're missing out, or some of these soul crystals. And then moving on to rare crystals, obviously, you need to actually have maxed out your unit completely. So this is the SSR plus units. And then eventually you will get yourself some of these purple ones, which are the rare ones, and then you can get yourself a cheaper version of a full character. So in this case, Kun Mashani here, and then you can get yourself Evan and Evan twice, and then some other SSRs here for much, much cheaper. So this here is 100% whale territory, right? For now. Again, whale territory, and all of this is going to be accessible eventually to free-to-play. It's just a matter of time, guys. It's going to take a while, but that's the purpose of free-to-play, right? You're supposed to take your time and suffer a little bit, but learn along the way, because as free to play, you're going to be able to use more character dynamics rather than just using the best characters, and try to beat content with some unique lineups that nobody else will, and eventually over time these characters will be accessible. So this shop is very important, guys, to note how to use it all. I just want to go through it with you guys, what to purchase, what to avoid. I think it's a very important thing to note. These things are going to just be accessible to everybody eventually, so just take your time and have fun with it. This is Payne. If you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, comment, let me know what you guys feel. If there's anything I missed for you as a player, please let me know in the comment section. Of course, I am still learning the game as well too, but I'm just sharing what I know from experience, and I hope it has helped you guys out. All right, guys, this is Payne. Talk to you in the next one.